Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap homework session and market preview with trade level set up for Monday, November the 18th. Of course, I've been off for a week due to some health issues and still working my way through that. So I appreciate your patience on me coming back. We're going to get going right away. For those, I don't see any new visitors in here, so I'm not going to even bother doing who we are and what we are. So let's just get right to the disclaimer. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for trades or investment decisions made. Trading features any instrument involves risk loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Okay, so the first thing we like to do, of course, is go through the macro to the micro in terms of the numbers and the trends. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, you might want to skip ahead until we get into some more in-depth chart analysis. But I always like to start this as a way to get into where we are within the market and where we are within the context of the numbers. Of course, we have now put in a new Globex high, which is a new all-time high, which is also a month high and will be week high as well. And of course, we did it in the Globex. This is a tendency for them to put newer highs in the Globex lately. So 1797.50 is our all-time high and is our month high. Oops. I'll make these adjustments later. So our month high is 1797.50. Our month low is 1736. I'm just going to skip right through to the intraday numbers. Friday we opened it at 1787.75 in Globex. Had a high of 92.75 in Globex and a low of 86.50. And then we opened up at 1790.50 outer range, created another gap. All kinds of gaps in this parabolic move up. Larger opening swing, smaller IB, but everything we continued the trend upward. Let's just take a quick look at the news. If I'm feeling like I'm stumbling around here, it's because of the new setup that I've got here. Whoa! So news today, we've got TIC long-term purchases at 8, housing at 9, and we've got FOMC. So no real big scheduled news for the day. Going over and taking a look at the trend macro to micro, you can see that we're very much still within this monthly trend, trading above all the other month's highs. We have not had a close below the 9 EMA all year. We haven't had a close below the 20 SMA for the last 2 years. So this trend has been extremely strong on the monthly. Going over to the weekly, we've got a nice parabolic move and good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20 on the weekly. This trend is still very much very strong in the weekly. Going over to the daily, well, we've created another technical gap right here where we've gone parabolic away from the 9 EMA. I'm expecting some consolidation and some sideways movement up here as the 9 comes up to test the price action. Might get a little bit of a pullback, and I'll talk about the areas that I'm looking at. But right now we're so close to that 1800, I find it very surprising if they don't go and hit the 1800. And then of course if we hit the 1800, we get the rule of 10 kicking in for 1810. Now I lost my other fork charts for some reason, but I did draw some newer ones in. And Howard, if you can spend some time with me later today to go over the old forks and see where we are. But I've got 3 forks in here. The long-term upward sloping fork is the yellow one. I haven't changed the colors yet here. You can see a test of the center line of the upward sloping fork is going to bring us into that 1809. If you remember, that 1808, 1809 was the energy point from the other forks that I had drawn, and is a target above still. And that's well within our ATR target today. We are trading above the shorter time frame, upward sloping fork, and test its upper line will bring us up into the 1838.50 area, and then this longer time frame upward sloping fork as well, we've broken above it and above this energy point that the two had created. So we are very much very strong into this trend. A pullback today would give us a move back down into the 1778 area to this energy point right here between the two shorter time frame forks. So let's go take a look at it, what it looks like on the composite. You can see that we broke out of this balance that we are in. Now, the overall microcomposite VPOC is still down here at 1758.50, but what I did is I took a look at where they accepted value before they launched, and you can see that the 4 days, even these two big moves where we had that big down day, and then right the next day they took it right back up. The most accepted price just before they launched out of this balance area was 1765, and you can see that if I bring these other days in, it shifts up to 1767.50, and it stays there through all these balance days that that are just before we launch. So that 65 to 67 is my first big area and target below for them to come back and test, which is that CHVN at 1767.50 and the CHVN at 1764.50. So kind of a little bit of a sludge area between 64.50 and 67.50. That's the big area to test once we get back down closer to this balance. But of course we're trading right near the highs. The key line in the sand for me today is going to be 1792.75. 1792.75 is the key CLVN, but it also is the LVN from Friday. The 1792.75 is the significant LVN from the double distribution day on Friday that we'll take a look at. It's also 2 ticks above the value area high from Friday, which was at 1792.25. And right now, if we stay above this 1792.75, I'd be looking for a continuation and a move to test 1800 today, and a move into the 1800s, possibly even to that 1810, 1809 area. But if we get back below 1792, we likely have to come down and pick up buyers. And the HVN and the naked VPOC from Friday from the double distribution is 1789.75, which is right around the 1787.75, and we've got the close there at 1787.50 to close the gap. So let's take a look at that in terms of the Friday distribution. You can see that we had double distribution. We found value down here around the naked VPOC and the HVN at 1789.75, and then we launched and went up and created an upper distribution here around the 1794.75, and made a high on Friday at 1796, and we're currently trading right at that high. And then we have the gap close from Friday at 1793.25. So let's take our numbers from the Globex and put them into our trade chart. So our overnight high is the new all-time high at 1797.50, and our overnight low is down at 1790.25, and our overnight VPOC is right around that range high from Friday at 1795.75, so one tick inside of Friday. Come on. All right, so we have some naked crosses that we have to look at. Naked cross is a study that I follow, 9 EMA crossing over the 20 SMA and price action moving away and leaving an auction. So we have a naked cross at 91.50 on the 5-minute. We have one at 91.75 on the 15-minute. And we have one at 91.75 on the 30-minute as well. And then one down at 81.25 and 82.75. And there's a couple a little bit further down, but I don't think they're going to come into play. So this morning we are going to open up either just outside of the range or just inside of the range. And again, I'm going to be watching this 92.75 as a key line in the sand. So that is going to be a marked trade area. I'd be looking for them if they come down and test the range high and break inside of the range. The first target below is going to be 1794.75, which is the CHVN and the HVN from the upper distribution on Friday. So that will be a target if we get back inside of the range with a push to close out the gap and test the LVN and the value area high. So my first hypothesis is to come in, break inside of the range. So if we do that, I'll be watching the 1796 area and a break to come in to test this upper distribution, go down, take out the naked close, and test the LVN and possibly a value area high test, at which time I'd be looking to see if buyers step in there to hold value above the price rejection from Friday and rotate back up through the upper distribution and out through the range high from Friday and go and take out the overnight high and put in a new high and a target up at 1800 for the centennial number. If we break below the 92.75, then we test the value area low at 92.25 and break into value. Then we've got the two naked, there's three actually, there's two at 91.75 and one at 91. Take out those naked VPOCs, push through to the overnight low, take the overnight low, and come down into the HVN of the lower distribution and the naked VPOC here at 1789.75. And this will be the other area that I would expect buyers to step in and try to hold value. So this will be a second target below. These are my two main targets today. Well, the third one is up here at 1800, of course. And then above that, if we break into 1800, whether or not we get a push through to complete the rule of 10 today, we'll wait and see. But I'm anticipating a test of that 1800. If we get into this lower distribution, look for them to push through to complete the value area rule down to 1788.25 and the 1788 range low. We've got a naked VPOC just below us from Thursday at 1787.50 and the gap close at 1787.50, and that would close these two gaps right here with the other side of balance being down here at 1774.75. So that will be an area that I'll be watching as well down here. If we get a big sell-off, will be this 74.75 CLVN. And then, of course, I'll be looking for a break below this area right here at 83.75 as a trade area. Oops. Okay, so again, just to review, my main hypothesis is we come down, we test the range high, we either find buyers there, responsive buyers there, and they step in, hold us outside of yesterday's range, and take us up through the overnight high. And of course, we're putting in a new all-time overnight high. We'll have to keep an eye on that, and a move up to 1800. So we could get initiative buyers right off the get-go, the way it's looking strong so far, and move right up to the 1800s. I am anticipating a initial response at 1800 for a rotation back, and the obvious rotation is back to test the range high and the overnight high, 97.75. But if we get inside of yesterday's value, then I'm really looking for a push down to the HVN for possible responsive buyers down there, and then a move up, or push through, test the LVN. I think we're going to come down and test the LVN at 1792.75 sometime today. But again, this market's been so strong, they haven't been needing a retracement to pick up buyers. Just taking a quick look at the upper Keltner, you can see that the upper Keltner test is going to give us that 1800, and it looks pretty strong. All green wrinkle bars once we held the center line. A test of the center line will bring us down to that 93.25 area, or more likely that 92.75 by the time we get down there. And then a test of the lower Keltner line will take us down into the 87.50 area and take out this overnight or this naked VPOC and the range low from Friday. So, the levels look pretty clean. There's not a lot to go on in terms of microcomposite long-term and mid-term price rejection. There's still some significant numbers that you can play off and trade today. Just taking a look at gold really quickly. Again, I'm just getting back into everything. I haven't really been watching too closely, but we talked about if we fell out of that balance and broke the 1304, that the likelihood is they'd go down and test that 1768 level. I've got to check my data, because this microcomposite VPOC was down at 1768. It's shifted now to 1270. But the target I had was 1268. We actually got down to 1260.50 before the buyer stepped in, which was just there at the CLVN, and then they rotated back up and they found balance in around this 83.10 microcomposite VPOC. So we're trading right around balance that we found here. Key areas below, watch this 1276.50. If we get below that, we're getting outside of value on the microcomposite, and I think back down to 1270 with a test of the other side of balance down at 1262, 1260 area. If we hold this value, look for slight move up into the 85.30, and test the other side of balance at 1288.20, which is right around that, between that 1284. Remember how important that was when we were watching it from way back when we had the first move down here. That was the main target for us below. And then if we get above the 1288.20, we test the value area high at 1289.60, and then I think we test the range high up in the 1294 possibly get up and test 1300s, but I think we'll see some more consolidation to the in this distribution zone, and just some chop in between 76.20 and 88.20 around this balance at 83 for today. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. Howard, over to you.
Thank you, Doug. We'll start with the daily chart. And as you can see, we are continuing to get a very strong push higher since we had our test below the 20 SMA back here on the 7th of October. Sorry, this is the weekly chart. And since then, we have not had a red week. And we're still pushing higher. We have our quarterly R2 level here, right around the 1800 level, about 1799.75. I also have a fib level above, which matches the energy points Doug talked about in the fork chart at 1809. So those are, the next resistance levels we see. So we're in pretty much agreement with what Doug was talking about earlier in terms of the century mark and the 1809 targets. Let's look at the daily. And here we had a test of the 20 SMA on the daily on our last small push. Lower back on the 13th. And since then we've continued pretty consistently higher from there. So no other real observations on this. So let's take a look at our market breadth, starting with on-balance volume. We have pushed to new highs on the on-balance volume, and it's in line with price, not quite at the same magnitude as price as far as the rise goes. So let's look at our Dow transports versus industrials. No changes here. We can see the transports are stronger, which has been their pattern all year. Strong market. They outperform in a weaker market, which we haven't seen too many. It underperforms the industrials. So no non-confirmations here. Looking at our sectors. So with just one exception, everything is pushing higher. The one exception being technology sector, this yellow line here. It's been flat for the last few days, whereas all the other sectors are participating with the market rise. Okay, looking at our advanced declines and up-down volume. As we've been discussing the last few weeks, our peak in both of these indicators, which are on a 10-day average basis, was on October 22nd, so almost a month ago. And since then, the broader market has seen more weakness, while as price has continued its rise. We've made a bit of a bottom here on November 7th, and more strength is coming back into the market. Both indicators are now back above the break-even 50% level. So we have more net advancers than decliners now, as well as more net up volume versus down volume. So we need to, continue to watch this to see if this is just a bit of a retrace or whether we've made our bottom here on these two indicators. But, very significant non-confirmation in market breadth versus price. And one last thing we'll look at. Our CO2 report. So if we keep going, and I have to extend this scale again above 1800, but what we see is since, it's not showing me the data points on here, but since this last interim high, the small specs were at their longest, and since then they've been reducing their long position. They're almost net flat now. So the zero line in terms of net long or short is right here. So small specs in yellow are just slightly net long. You can see that in blue the large specs have been pretty much going with the market. As the market goes up, they're getting longer. As it pulls back, they're getting shorter. But you can see that their trend has been to reduce their long position here. Even though they're in sync with the market fluctuations, the magnitude of their net long position isn't keeping up. So as the market's getting stronger, the large specs are on their way to reducing their net long position. Right now they're about 100,000 contracts net long, and the commercials have been increasing their long position after being pretty steadily net short around the minus 200,000 contract level. They're actually starting to become less net short. So now I'm getting my points here. So it looks like the small specs peaked on September 17th and have been since then reducing their long position. The large specs, their peak net long position was actually back on April 30th. So, both long and the small specs have been, becoming less long, although the large specs have been in sync with the market much better than the small specs. So with that, Doug, that's all I've got. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Howard. Sorry, I forgot I had my mic closed. All right, so we just put in a new overnight high at 1798 and a quarter. We're trading at 1797.75. So we've got 15 minutes to the open, and we're still strong. So I anticipate that we should open an auction at a range. So look to see if we find initiative buyers right out of the gate, and they take us right up and hit the 1800 and test that centennial number, or whether or not we come down and test the range high. But if we break into the range, look for the first target down at 94.75 HVN from Friday, and the gap close at 93 and a quarter with a test of the LVN. Below that, you know where the targets are, but I'm anticipating this will be where the buyers will try to hold value and continue a move up. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the flip side. And again, I'm still not 100%, and I'm working my way back into everything. I got a brand new trading room that is 99.9% completed, and hope to take advantage of it this week. I will be in the live room today, so I'll be closing down the this go-to and opening up the live room, and we'll be calling trades. Everyone have a wonderful day.